Welcome to the Porn Reboot podcast, where you get practical tips to gaining control over your porn or sex addiction. We help ambitious men end their out-of-control sexual behavior with pornography, sex, and masturbation so that you can maximize your life, perform at your potential, and remain in control in the driver's seat, which is where you have to be in order to gain or maintain the success you want in life. I'm your host, J.K. Amazi, certified sex and porn addiction recovery coach. Welcome to the episode.
One of the most challenging things for me as a reboot coach is guiding a man to let go of his past conditioning, especially conditioning that comes from his culture, society, religion, and family. And this conditioning can prevent you from rebooting. Remember, rebooting is not recovery. Recovery is getting back things from the past, recovering that which you lost to your out-of-control behavior or to your addictive behavior or to your bad habits. When it comes to recovery, you're also recovering things from your past conditioning. Maybe your past conditioning said that you should be a very frugal person, or your past conditioning said that you should marry your childhood sweetheart, like the first woman you're sexually intimate with, you should marry that woman. Maybe your past conditioning said that you should not move far away from your family and that you should always be around your family because we're a family-oriented culture. Maybe that's the culture you're from. Whatever it is, you're still trying to regain those things when you go through traditional recovery. When it comes to rebooting, we're just hitting the reset button on everything. We are only bringing things into your life which are good for your new self-image. Remember, we change your habits. Then you establish that as a lifestyle. When you've lived that way for a while, your self-image changes. But in the process of what we call defining your reboot, you are defining a life that is not only free from your out-of-control behavior, but you are creating a new self-image that does not allow for compulsive behaviors that are damaging to you to show up in your life anymore. And this requires building everything up from the ground up, which is not as hard as you think it is. It's challenging, but it isn't going to take you your entire life to do that. It isn't going to take a whole bunch of years to do. So hitting the reset button does involve letting go of your conditioning. And unfortunately, many men find this difficult because of their social circle, because of who they choose to listen to. There was a quick story of something that happened recently without sharing too much about this particular client for privacy reasons. First of all, we had a client who I issued a refund. This brother is in his 30s. He is a virgin. He is addicted to pornography, and he is not a virgin by choice. So he is not like a very religious person who is saving it for marriage. He very much wants to have sex. He very much wants to be intimate. He very much wants to be in control of his behavior. But he hasn't been able to because of years of nice guy conditioning. Like, be a gentleman, you're a good guy, you are perfect as you are, you don't need to change. But in the meantime, he was deeply addicted to pornography. And this is the thing that starts happening to you as you get older, especially those of you who are over the age of 25. If you are a virgin and you are over the age of 25, but you want to have sex, I don't care if you're religious or not, even if you're just like, oh, I'm saving it for marriage. If you're over the age of 25 and you haven't had sex and you are addicted to pornography, you are wading in very dangerous waters because you are heading to a place where your personality is going to be set. Most men and women actually, your personality is set by the time you are in your early to mid 30s at the latest. But your brain is not fully developed as a man till about the age of 25. And that's when a lot of your lifestyle habits, a lot of the way you are going to be as a person is determined after that. So if by the age of 25, you don't start trying to change up your environment, have new experiences, meet new people, date other people, try to be a little bit more open-minded. I'm not saying you won't change. We have plenty of examples of people who have changed later on in life. Many of our clients have. But what I'm saying is that it becomes very difficult. And then by the age of 30, homeostasis kicks in and then your body just starts dying. testosterone levels drop, you start losing muscle mass every year. A lot of your body just literally is like, you don't have kids, it's time for you to start dying. And then it is a battle to maintain everything, to maintain your cognitive function, to maintain your productivity, to maintain your muscle mass, and so on. Basically, having an addiction past the age of 35 makes life very difficult. So this brother had been listening to a lot of that stuff, and as a result of it and the shame from his pornography addiction, he just lived this life where he had no access to sex. So he joins our program, and as you can guess, joining our program means that you're going to be exposed to very positive, enthusiastic, growth-minded individuals. And this can be scary for some people. It can be very scary to face the reality that, hey, I might actually change my life. But here's the big thing that happened with this brother. And I want you to think of yourself, if you can relate to what this guy is going through. The people in his circle believe that he was perfect as he was. And these are people who he trusts. These are good people, and these are people who care for him. Do you have people in your circle who tell you that there is no need for you to wake up early and exercise so much? Like, that does not make sense. That's one of the things we encourage. We encourage exercise in our program, pushing your body. And you might be like, well, why? Well, if you're a person who is recovering from an addictive behavior, I'm using the word recovering just because if you're listening to this podcast and you're not in the program, you're going to think recover. If your person is recovering from addictive behavior, you need to find other ways of finding pleasure in your life. And one of the things that exercise does is that it releases endorphins. Exercise can literally help you end your depression. At first, it will help you manage it, but once exercise becomes a regular part of your life, once it becomes a routine, it will help you rewire your brain. It is critical, and it's one of many tools that we use. However, to what we call a civilian just sees that as being extreme. Like, why do you need to run? Why do you need to work out? Like, you don't need to be that extreme about it. Why do you need to wake up in the morning and read positive material? Why do you need to write out your goals? Because all of these things have been scientifically proven to help you accomplish goals that you have not been able to accomplish because of the negative impact of your out-of-control behavior. Now, the interesting thing is that if you are a man who has not told the people in your close circle that you're struggling with an out-of-control behavior, or you haven't revealed the depth of your out-of-control behavior, it's very easy for you to listen to them. Super easy. You're never going to tell them, well, I'm struggling with this behavior with pornography, and this program actually, it helps me change those things, and here is why. No, you're going to listen to them because what they will share with you comes from a place of kindness, of loving. They think you're putting yourself through something painful, and they don't want to see you suffer. So when you hear it from them, you're like, well, you know what? They're right. They care for me. This is a little bit extreme to do these things, like to put myself out there and date women. Like, the Dating Reboot program is encouraging me to go out there and talk to strange women. Like, literally, like, that's not comfortable for women. We have people who are telling brothers in our program that no, you shouldn't go up to a woman and tell her, like, hey, this is absolutely random, but I just saw you from the other aisle and I thought you were all kinds of attractive. I had to come up to you and say hello. Oh no, they'll be like, no, you don't. That's sexual harassment. We have had people tell our clients that. Why? Because it is not normal to do that. It is not what the average person does. But brother, I want you to understand that your inability, if you're in that situation, your inability to navigate the quote-unquote average world and deal with the emotions in certain aspects of this world, whether it is your career and your finances, whether it is your relationships and your dating life, whether it is your ability to manage your emotions and regulate your emotions, your inability to do one of these many things led to your dependence on pornography. But everybody that you are listening to, the people who genuinely care for you, they do not truly know how fucked up you are. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you listen to them and you aspire to be like them, you stay stuck. And the older you get with listening to people telling you that you are perfect, you are good as you are, just be yourself, go talk to a therapist, pray more. The older you get, the more difficult it becomes for you to change. And one day you will wake up and look around you, and none of those people are there for you because they too have become older, but they have families to take care of. They have other things to do. I have had clients who are in their 40s, their mid-40s, who are virgins. Obviously, the theme of this has to do with sexuality. Who are virgins, not by choice, but because they listened to their mom who said, stay home, take care of me. I'm not kidding. A lot of clients are like this. Stay home, take care of me. When they try to go off on their own and make it on their own, mom would always send them money. Your parents are always bailing you out. And so you would go out there, you're not able to make it, you come back home, and mom is like, it's okay. Stay home, get a job, I'll take care of you, and save up your money. And later on in some mystical future, you can buy yourself a home. And they end up staying, and as they get older, they develop a codependence with their parents. Parents can't let you go, their dysfunction affects you. You're also addicted to pornography. But because you're also living with your parents, it becomes the logistics of dating become very challenging. Because you're living with your parents, chances are your friends are outdated friends. What do I mean by outdated friends? I mean they are friends who are still in the same city. They themselves have not left. They themselves are not being adventurous and growing and seeking things. They are growing in the sense that they are doing what they should do. What are the things you're supposed to do? Graduate, get a job, find a girl, get married, have a bunch of kids, get a mortgage you can barely afford, and do that. And those are the people you're hanging out with. Again, there is nothing wrong with that. But you listening to this, you have an out-of-control sexual behavior. You can't afford to do those things. You can only afford to do them in your own way when you have gotten your behavior out of the way. And in order to get your behavior out of the way, you need to rewire your brain. And in order to rewire your brain, you need to break away from your past conditioning. The brother who I was referring to in this situation got the refund because he had other people in his ear. Now, we have a lot of situations like this. This was a little bit different because he was very open about it. Now, I'll tell you one last thing that happened. So after this was taken care of, this brother was on a social media platform, and he went to the social media platform and he told a story of how about 6 years ago, a woman he was dating said that she stopped dating him because of his lifestyle. And let's just say that he has a lifestyle that is a sustainable lifestyle, environmentally sustainable lifestyle. That means that his lifestyle was focused on not harming the environment. So, you could switch sustainability with being a vegan or vegetarian because you don't want to harm animals, or somebody who recycles a lot. So let's just say, even though that's not what it was, let's say this brother recycled a lot. That's not what it is, but I want to protect his privacy. And so a woman, he said he found it very difficult to date women because every time he tried to date them, they would have a problem with his quote unquote recycling. It's like you being vegan and saying that women will not date me because I'm vegan. They find it weird on the first date at the restaurant. So he put this out there. Now, this is a grown man in his mid-30s posting publicly on social media that he is, listen to this, he is quitting his job so that he can move to a different state that is more friendly towards people that have his lifestyle. The lifestyle could be anything. Again, recycling, where they are a place where there are more vegans or vegetarians, a place where there are more, whatever the case may be, so that he has the opportunity to meet a partner who is into that life. And in the comment section, there were dozens of people saying, giving him suggestions on places he could move to. They were like, yeah, you can move to this place because there are more people like that there. Like, you're a really good guy. I see no reason why you can't do that. Like, I'm so sorry to hear that this happened to you like in fucking 2016 or 17. Like this. And I was looking at this going like, whoa, I couldn't help it. I went into the comment section. I was like, let me be straight with you. It is not your lifestyle. It is not being vegan, vegetarian, being the person who is. It is not that is stopping a woman from dating you. It is you. You are the problem, because it doesn't matter what your particular passion is. Like, you could be on a carnivore diet. You could be a non-religious person. You could be whatever, and a woman will date you in spite of those things. Y'all know that. All of you as men know that. And if you are attractive, if you are even consistent with your passion, over time, the woman cannot help but respect you. Not because she respects your belief, not because she respects the fact that you're a Christian or a non-Christian, not because she respects the fact that you really do eat meat every damn day, not because she respects the fact that you're a vegan, vegetarian, or that you recycle every plastic bottle. No. But it is human behavior to naturally respect people who demonstrate passion and consistency to something. And the moment that somebody respects you, you can influence them. Now, I'm generalizing. I'm not saying this happens all the time, but I will give you 2 examples from my life and my current relationship. I've been in a relationship for 15 years and 9 months. I only know it's 9 months because my girl literally counted it out and told me that it's 15 years and 9 months. I don't keep track of the months part of things. But she is vegetarian. I am not vegetarian. I eat meat. Heck, I'm going to eat meat tonight right in front of her. But we don't have a problem with each other. It doesn't stop her from having sex with me, finding me attractive. It doesn't. She left me a love note last night on my mirror. Very happy for that. Just reminds me I need to write her a note. But she has influenced me, because I don't eat as much meat as I used to, because I still would try her vegetarian meals. And I was like, damn, like some of these meals are pretty good. So she has influenced me. Another example is with meditation. As you all know, I love to meditate. I enjoy meditation. And I would go for retreats every year, which is also part of my Reboot. She didn't show up for 5 years. She just had no interest in it. And 5 years in, that's 5 years of me meditating and going for a 10-day retreat. So I just disappear. She can't talk to me or anything. She said she wanted to come along. And she's become a more hardcore meditator than I am. I've seen many other examples of men who are Christians in our Dating Reboot program who say, you know what, I went on a date with a girl and she wasn't Christian. And she smokes weed. And she drinks alcohol. And I just don't think she's long-term potential. I was like, but did you enjoy hanging out with her? They're like, yeah, she's a nice girl. I mean, she's really attractive, bro. She's like super hot. She is very, very interesting conversation with her, but she's just not a Christian. So this is not a woman that I would want to date women that there's a potential for something long-term, and she's not that. And I think if you're that type of man, you're leaving a lot on the table. You are really selling yourself short, and you are underestimating your ability to lead. Again, you have influence when you are dedicated to something. And the reason why many of you don't believe you have that influence is because there is something in your life that you have no control over, that you should have control over, and that's your sexual behavior. So you don't believe that you have the ability to influence people in the long term. And when I say the long term, I mean the long term. Why? Because some of you are in sales. Some of you are in careers where you're really good. In order for you to get paid, you have to be really good at convincing people in the short term. But you don't believe that you can convince people in the long term because you have a fear that people will see you for who you really are if you were to work with them in the long term. So you avoid that in every aspect of your life. I tell men, especially men who I'm using Christian as an example, that's the most common one that happens within our group, that if you live in a certain way, and you are attracted to somebody because of that deep within them, you can see they're a kind person. They're actually a loving person. However, some of their behaviors, they're not self-destructive behaviors. They're just not behaviors that match with yours. You're like, this person doesn't hurt other people and they don't hurt themselves. They just don't live a lifestyle that's in tune with mine, but they're a good person. Let me tell you this. You have every ability and there's every possibility that you will influence them, especially if you are living a healthy lifestyle. I'm not saying you should date somebody who self-harms. I'm not saying you should date somebody who gets blackout drunk like every night, and even when hanging out with you, they won't stop. I'm not saying you should date somebody who has an addiction. Again, like, come on, think about it, bro. You too have an out of control behavior. That's the only reason you're listening to me, the reason you've been here. So, like, who are we to cast the first stone, as the Christians say? But my point is, you can influence other people. And that's what I told him in the comment section, that, brother, you can influence somebody, but you just need to learn how to be a more attractive man and stop blaming your problem on something else. And I was saying it in a way where I wouldn't reveal to everybody, all his friends or whatever, that, you know, he was also a porn addict. But then people came for me in the comment section saying that it was motivational drivel that I was spouting, that how dare I have the audacity to tell a man that his passion could change somebody, that his passion could influence, that I had no idea what I was talking about, that a truly independent and emotionally secure woman would never allow herself to be influenced by a man. Now, that's just one example. That was a female perspective. But that should also tell you that there are people that you are spending time with and that you are listening with that are influencing you, but you've never had the opportunity to hear what they truly have to say because you've never challenged it. Many of you are nice guys. You are conflict avoidant. So you never truly get to see what mom or dad is like, except for when you were a kid, when you go against their wishes and you don't want to deal with it. Why? Because the strong emotions that come from conflict will cause you to self-medicate with an out-of-control behavior. But now you're getting older, brother. If you're over the age of 25, you're conflict avoidant. You're hanging out with people and you don't want to challenge them. You don't know how to tell your friends that I don't want to hang out with you anymore. I don't want to engage in this behavior. I'm going to go a different route in my life. Mom, Dad, I'm going to leave the home. I'm going to stop asking you for money. You need to stop calling me. You need to stop texting me. You need to stop expecting me to do X, Y, Z. If you are over the age of 25 and you cannot say those things and you're still dealing with an out of control behavior, brother, it is going to be so difficult for you to reboot. So what's my message here? My message is be very wary of who you allow into your ear, the information, who you allow to tell you things and give you advice. Look at them and simply ask yourself, are these people aspirational individuals? They might inspire me. Like, you're like, hey, I'm inspired by this guy and his marriage. Like the fact that he's married and he has kids and he pays his mortgage and he seems like a good dad. I find that inspirational, that he's kept it together. And I know they've been through some tough times. But is he aspirational? When you look at the struggles that he's going through, when you look at his body, when you look at the way his wife reacts to him, when he talks to you sometimes about the fact that she just doesn't want to have sex with me anymore, and you're just like sympathetic because you're like, well, they've been through some really tough times. They're both stressed out. They would have to do all these. Is that the life you want to live? Or do you assume that that's the norm? This is the question you have to ask yourself. Rebooting will cause you to question all of these things. Because here's the thing. You don't have to live the way anyone in your close circle, in your city, in your family, from your mosque, your church, or your temple, you don't have to live the way any of them are living. Rebooting means that from the core, you get to define who you are. You get to dream. You get to pick the things you want to do as long as they do not hurt anybody or hurt you. You get to do those things. And I want you to have the courage to do that. If you are a man who does not have those things he wants in life and who is afraid, book a call with one of our Reboot strategists, not to join the program, but just to have somebody wake you the fuck up and tell the Reboot strategist that. Just tell him, brother, listen, I listened to JK's podcast. I don't want to waste your time. I just want to be real with you. I got on here because I am over the age of 25. I am stuck in this rut and I don't know who to talk to. I'm not going to talk to a therapist about this and have them like psychoanalyze. I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking for a group of people who are constantly breaking out of that conditioning. And just so you know, if you speak to anyone in my company on the phone or on Zoom or in person, you best believe that they have rebooted. Talk to them and say, hey, what do you think I should do? Compassion. Everything with compassion is our company motto, just so you know, internal company motto. So it doesn't matter how you show up. Even if you show up to us rude, you show up as an asshole, you show up in any way, we're still going to be compassionate with you because we know that that is not your true volition. We know that deep down, you must have been hurt by something. You must have misunderstood something. You must be projecting something on us. And we could be wrong too. Maybe we fucked up. We'll admit it too, but we will be compassionate. All I'm saying is don't be afraid. Don't be hesitant. Please just break through the whole listening and consuming information and start letting go of that conditioning. Be very wary of who you get information and advice from.
I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Porn Reboot podcast. I'll speak to you later on in the week. If you found this episode helpful, here are 4 ways I can help you with your out-of-control sexual behavior for free. The first way is to grab a free copy of my book, Confessions of a Porn Addict, 7 Secrets of Porn-Free Men at elevatedrecovery.org, or visit the link in the description below this episode. The second way is, if you're not sure where to start, but you'd like to learn more about my team and I, if you'd like to spend time with like-minded professionals and business owners who are controlling their behavior, then join our free and confidential group, the Porn Reboot Group on Facebook. There's a link to join in the description below this episode. The third way is if you need help right now because you have a burning issue, your behavior with pornography is hurting you mentally or emotionally, you're about to lose your relationship, you want to live up to your potential, be an authentic man, and free yourself from shame, guilt, and underachieving, then click on the link in the description below this episode that says free coaching call. And the fourth way is to leave us a 5-star review if you enjoy this podcast so that we can reach more men who are struggling in silence and bring back the lessons we learn from coaching them to freedom.